Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to your favorite podcast.
This is their favorite podcast?
This is their favorite podcast. That's why they come back every week.
Oh yeah, these are all concurrent viewers.
Yes. I'm doing wild stuff with my eyes right now, but they can't see it. I wish we
can hear through your.
I wish we had a video podcast.
Oh man, one day.
I do so much with my face when doing this. I'm also glad that we don't have a video podcast because I hate the way I look.
Aw, you look so good.
Everybody mourn for me. Anyways.
Imagine though, if we could actually do the Pillow Fort podcast live from a Pillow Fort.
That would be awesome.
It would work so well for acoustics.
Go check out our YouTube channel, Penguin Wizards. It hasn't had an upload in about 5 years, but the stuff that we did upload was funny.
Yeah, it's cherry picking the best stuff rather than like this channel where we upload everything.
Yeah.
Which is still the best stuff.
Speaking of everything, this is Ross and Wizzy's Fanfiction Power Hour, ladies and gentlemen. And NBs and the other ones. Look, I can't name everybody. So, today, we are going to be continuing our glorious Rainbow Dash month. Hey, it's Rainbow Dash month, and it's also Pride month when we're recording this.
It is?
Yep, happy June 1st, everybody.
Man, happy Pride month, everyone. But I guess the title of this story is so fitting.
Oh no. Wizzy, no.
The lesbians just love it.
No. All right, so today we're going to be reading. Well, we're going to be reading two stories. That other story, if you haven't read the title already, we're going to get to that in a bit. But this story that we're going to be reading first is called Mommy. Now I know what you're thinking. It's not like that. Don't worry. It's just, well, I suppose you'll see. It's going to be, I hear it's cute. It's also by the Gamerator 10.
I wonder if that's like their age or their birth year.
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can find it. Well, 21-year-old Albanian American.
Oh. Maybe it's their birth year if they come from the future.
Didn't actually expect to find that.
Yeah, that's true. Surprised that you did find out that much information just from looking at their profile.
Yeah. I was like, I wasn't expecting to find anything. But instead, I found the send-off to the joke.
Yep. And now, let's get into this story.
Absolutely.
Chapter 1, in which Spitfire has a perfectly normal day. It was a nice, clear, sunny day in Cloudsdale. The floating city was bustling. Every pony was enjoying their day. Nothing could go wrong. Spitfire, captain of the Wonderbolts, a legendary Pegasus flight team, was simply strolling through the streets, humming to herself. She was on her way to the market, saddlebag in tow. She was to pick up some apples. She was starting to run low on food. She thought to herself. Do a good mommy voice.
Oh, God. Don't ask me to do a mommy voice, Wizzy. Not a good one. That's gonna make this fanfiction even worse. Beautiful day out. I feel as though nothing, absolutely nothing, can ruin this day.
That's a voice I'd call mommy. Spitfire trotted along with a positive atmosphere. This positivity halted, however, when a young blue Pegasus filled with a rainbow mane and tail was standing in front of her, staring into Spitfire's eyes, bearing a simple-minded smile upon her face.
Mommy!
I knew you were going to do that.
It's the perfect baby voice. Spitfire looked around. She assumed this filly was calling out to a pony behind or above her.
Mommy!
The filly repeated. Spitfire bore a confused look, raising one eyebrow and her mouth agape slightly. She pointed at herself for the filly. All the filly did was stare at Spitfire with that cute little smile. Spitfire became concerned. Where was this little one's mother?
Mommy!
Isn't it
Spitfire.
wild how you never said that more than once? We just played the same clip over again. Wild how we did that.
Yeah. I just refuse to say that word more than once, you know?
Yeah, Wizzy's got this weird thing.
I'm a dom, okay?
Wizzy.
Spitfire thought nothing of it and just continued along. Her stomach growled at her, demanding she make haste for the market.
Robble, 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 robble.
She thought aloud.
What was up with that? Why was that little filly calling me mommy? I never had children before. What's going on?
Whatever the answer, Spitfire closed her eyes and assured herself that maybe this whole caper would be easier to decipher after some lunch. She opened her eyes again, only to be greeted by a smiling blue filly.
Mommy!
The filly said. Sitting down, Spitfire double-took. Wasn't the filly behind her? All the filly did was bore that simple, cute little smile and stare.
I'm not gonna lie. That smile is extremely adorable.
Spitfire thought. Then something happened that the yellow-orange Pegasus never foresaw. The filly clung to Spitfire's front right leg, holding it gently and closing its eyes. Keeping that little smile, Spitfire couldn't help but smile herself.
Mommy!
The filly said once more. That seemed to add to the adorable scene. A few ponies noticed, and when Spitfire snapped out of her trance, they cooed. Oh. Oh yeah, there's a pigeon here too, guys. Pigeon, get out of here. Spitfire realized she had to get out of here. Spitfire realized she had to get out of there. Not to mention she was starving. She decided to fly. She flapped her wings and took to the air, just like the pigeon. The blue filly slipped right off her leg. The filly started to cry. By now the crowd had broken up, so no pony witnessed the filly crying. Spitfire's ears caught the sound, and as she flew higher, the good part of her conscience made her reconsider leaving the filly in the dust. She flapped her wings slower and slower and began her descent. She was back on the ground.
Hey, Wizzy, sorry, I just got back from the bathroom. Why was Reginald Coo just crying?
Oh no, that was Reginald Coo?
Yeah. I thought, hey, I've got to go to the bathroom. Hey, Reginald Coo, can you hop on here for a second? But he was crying, Wizzy. What did you do?
I don't know anything. I said some hurtful things, okay? Reginald Coo, if you're out there, I'm sorry.
I'm sure he'll listen to this podcast.
That name is so good.
Hey, chin up. Don't cry.
Spitfire added. This seemed to comfort the filly, who proceeded to cling to her leg once more.
Mommy!
She replied in a loving and forgiving voice. Spitfire giggled.
All right, let's go to the market. I'm sure your mother is there,
she said. The filly gave her a confused look. Spitfire commented.
Let's just go to the market.
She placed the filly on her back and trotted along to her destination. The Cloudsdale market wasn't very busy. It was, after all, 2:00 in the afternoon. Ponies were shouting.
Asparagus! If you care about asparagus, get your asparagus here.
And
cherries. I cherries the moment you buy some cherries.
Oh no. He had to force that pun, man, just to sell his cherries.
Wouldn't you, though? That sounds like something you would do, actually. That sounds exactly like something you would say.
I would do that to get people to buy my cherries out of pity.
Yeah, that is such a Wizzy move.
Yeah, it usually works. You know, manipulating people's emotions is a surprising way to get them to do what you want.
That is very true. Wizzy would know.
Da-da-da-da-da-da. Among other business ramblings and advertisements, Spitfire could do some more shopping later. Her priorities were 1, get some apples, and 2, find this filly's mother.
Mommy!
The filly cried out, pointing to a cupcake stand.
Fine. We'll get you some cupcakes.
Spitfire sighed. Each cupcake was 3 bits each. Spitfire got 2, 1 for her, 1 for this mysterious filly. The filly munched on her vanilla chocolate cupcake with small, almost rhythmic bites. She thought the filly would get lost in it as she sat down at a nearby table enjoying her plain vanilla one, which she consumed in 4 bites, which is actually a lot for a horse if you think about it. Shouldn't they be eating these in one? Like they eat an apple in one, basically.
That's a good point.
It felt good to ease some of her hunger pains, and it was made better with this filly's adorable style of eating. When all was said and done, the filly had cupcake remains all over her face. Spitfire giggled and got a napkin to wipe it off, while also wiping her residue off. She helped the filly back onto her back and approached the apple stand.
"A dozen apples, please,"
she said to the sales pony.
"That'll be 24 bits, madam,"
he remarked. Spitfire gave the proper sum and proceeded to walk away. While walking, she noticed that the spot the filly occupied on her back was weightless and vacant.
"Celestia, please tell me she didn't fall off,"
she thought. She turned around, afraid to look. Her fear soon turned to astonishment when she realized the filly was flying. Amateurish, but impressive for the filly's assumed age nonetheless.
This kid's, what, 4? And she's able to fly? I wasn't able to fly until 6.
I wasn't able to fly until 8.
I've never been able to fly.
Well, yeah, but that's because they clipped your wings. Has that ever actually happened in a My Little Pony?
I'm gonna say Scootaloo, but no.
Wait, what happened to Scootaloo's wings?
She just can't fly.
Dang.
Yeah.
I always knew there was something about her.
I think it's Soren. I believe his nickname is Clipper, and I can't remember why he got that, but might have been something to do with that.
It's subcontext. Scootaloo can't fly and he's named Clipper.
Sure.
She thought once more.
Mommy.
The filly called out once more, clearly with the purpose of making Spitfire watch her. All the latter did was stare at the little tricks the filly was doing, speechless, her mouth widely agape.
"Wow,"
she remarked.
"Kiddo, you got style."
From this response, the blue filly beamed an enormous smile, clearly pleased with the response.
"Okay, now let's get you home,"
Spitfire remarked. Before she could even begin walking, a similarly made Pegasus as the filly rushed up to her.
"Oh, thank you so much for finding my little Dashie, Miss Spitfire. I've been looking high and low for her,"
the mare said, relieved and pleased.
"Dashie, don't ever go about without Mommy from now on, okay?"
Mommy.
Wait a second. Dashie?
Spitfire asked.
"Oh, I'm sorry. This is Rainbow Dash, my daughter. Sorry if she has caused any disturbance. She tends to do her own thing, you know,"
the mare replied.
She called me Mommy and hugged my leg.
Spitfire remarked.
Don't get me wrong, it was extremely cute and adorable, but I have trouble wrapping my head around it.
"Oh, she likes hugging things, and Mommy is the only word she knows."
Oh, just keep an eye on her from now on, okay?
Spitfire requested.
"I will. Thank you, Miss Spitfire,"
the mare said, and flew off.
Remember that, Spitfire?
Why?
I can't change the voice, come on.
Fair enough. You know, whenever characters that I voice go through developments, I always change it. You remember,
Ross, there's 4 paragraphs left, come on.
You remember Soren in You Two Are What?
Oh, yeah,
Wild
that's right.
development.
Oh, God. Rainbow Dash asked for mentor.
Just make sure that history lesson doesn't get out to the public, okay?
Spitfire requested.
Sure thing, Mommy.
Dash giggled. Spitfire returned with a bemused look.
Yeah, I'll go home now,
the blue Pegasus replied, and flew off.
The end. That was Mommy by The Gamerator 10.
That was adorable.
It was quite adorable. Although I had a feeling that it was going to be more adorable than it actually turned out to be. I suppose I'm just jaded. After my, let's call it absence from life, I've become unamused with cute things, I suppose.
Well, we might have one that'll get your cute ticking.
Oh, yeah, but that in a minute. So, I'm sure you're wondering, hey, is Spitfire actually that much older than Rainbow Dash? Well, the answer to that is actually no.
Oh.
Yeah, Spitfire in the show, and this was written in 2016, we didn't know this at the time, there was an episode, and I believe coincidentally it introduces Rainbow Dash's parents. I think. Don't quote me on that. In an episode, there was a little bit of a flashback that basically just showed Rainbow Dash getting better and better at flying, and it actually shows a younger Spitfire, as well as a younger Rainbow Dash, and a younger Derpy, and Lightning Dust.
How much younger is Spitfire than Rainbow Dash? I mean, Rainbow Dash than Spitfire.
We don't know. They both look exactly the same at that age, so.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
Because you'd assume Spitfire's older.
I would have thought so, but I guess, different paths in life. And I know what you're thinking. Does Rainbow Dash's mom really have the same color mane? Well, Wizzy, I'm glad you asked.
Of course.
No, actually. No, she doesn't.
Is
Rainbow
it
Dash's
similar?
mom's mane is, I believe it's just orange. Maybe a bit of
Oh.
yellow in there, maybe.
Like
Rainbow Dash's father
Spitfire?
has the rainbow mane.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's why she's so masculine. She gets all her traits from her father.
Yeah.
But would you say that her mother's mane is similar to Spitfire's?
Hold on, let me just look up Windy Whistles. That's her mother's name, by the way. I didn't just say that out of random.
Oh, I thought you were just randomly looking up the words windy and whistles.
Yeah, I'm so wacky.
Random Google portion of the podcast.
Whoa. Can you say MILF?
I can, but I'd rather not.
I'm kidding. Rainbow Dash's mother looks like a fine lady, but... Well, anyways.
Oh, something I wanted to point out with this story. I noticed some points where they used parentheses very unnecessarily. Like, it was just normal narration parts that I guess maybe they should have put earlier in the sentence, and to make up for it, they put it in parentheses at the end of a sentence. It did not read as well as it could have, so I do have to deduct points.
I can understand that. I've seen that before. I didn't really notice it, but I wasn't reading it, so yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I think this is going to be a shorter episode, so I'm really trying to drag it out right now. And to answer your question, yeah, I guess her mom does have a bit closer of a mane to Spitfire.
Hey, so maybe that could have been the story.
Whoa.
She's like, oh, yeah, you have a similar mane. She thought you were I. Oh, but you know something?
What's up?
I don't know, but she just kind of accepted that that was her mother pretty quick just because of like a similar mane. But if someone was like, oh, that's my child, I'm taking them now after they've been like missing all day, I don't know.
Yeah. What if Spitfire just did steal her?
Oh,
It's like-
God.
That's fine.
You are mine now, child.
She called me mommy? That's fine.
Just put her down and see who she goes to.
I've got a great idea to settle this. Let's cut baby Rainbow Dash in half.
King Solomon?
That
Okay.
is like my third King Solomon reference on this podcast.
What? Really?
Yeah, I know I referenced it in, I believe, Be Good to Your Daughters, for They Become Mothers. Might have been that one.
Oh, dang.
But I can't confirm that. Yeah, big King Solomon fan, this guy.
Well, if you're a big fan of King Solomon, I think you'll be a big fan of this next story.
Next story? Wizzy, what is it?
That's right. I've secured a sequel to The Most Annoying Infestation.
Wizzy, that's illegal.
I know, but it's on the black market, so I was able to obtain it.
Ah.
It's only illegal for them to sell it to me. I can have this story all I want, okay?
Okay.
So get your britches ready for The Most Annoying House Guest, Chapter 1, Baddie.
Whoa. This has blown my mind. Wizzy, I can't believe you've done this for me.
Yeah, of course. I did this for you. Rainbow Dash found it was pointless to read the Daring Do books only once. After all, how would she absorb every little detail about Daring's amazing adventures? She had... Wait a minute, Rainbow Dash is reading? Ugh, I thought she was cool.
Well, actually, Wizzy, we've explained this before in the podcast. Rainbow Dash does read. And it's a little known fact if you haven't watched past season 2. So, yeah, she's not good at reading at first, but...
Oh, wait, of course, we did that whole thing where she's writing a letter to Daring Do because she likes the books, so I definitely knew that she was a fan of Daring Do.
We've got to listen to Read It Later, Wizzy, you and me, just because it's a really funny episode. So really good. It's top tier. You all should go listen to the 51st episode of this podcast.
Listen to it later.
Anyways, yeah, Rainbow Dash can read.
So she had settled on that night to try and read as much as possible. No, she wasn't an egghead. It was just being awesome within the mind. Yeah, at least that's what she told Twilight whenever the Alicorn found Rainbow following another one of Daring Do's quests. Alright, fine. I guess if you phrase it that way, reading is pretty cool.
Yeah, being awesome with the mind.
Aw, yeah. Unlike all that stuff that Twilight does. That's not being awesome with the mind.
Can't stand my mind. My mind sucks.
The mind is the prison of the... I don't know what I'm going at.
That's okay, Wizzy. We can all sit here and just wait until you figure it out.
No, I can't be, Charles Manson. That guy can go off on a rant like that with it. Just like that.
Very true. You can also do a lot of other stuff. What a guy.
But we don't talk about that, not on the podcast, Ross. We only talk about Charles Manson in a positive light on the podcast. Wings aching from a day of flying, the Pegasus stumbled up to her bed, before collapsing onto its blue blankets. It was already dark and black shadows stretched across Rainbow's walls. Yawning, she flicked on a light with her hoof, and settled down against her pillow with a book in her arms.
Daring Do and the Temple Quest,
she muttered to herself, flipping open the page.
Let's see,
Rainbow said quietly, squinting at the words.
Daring Do. Okay, my favorite voice I've ever done. Hey, Blue Mummy.
The mare yelped and jerked up, nearly smashing her lamp in the process. Rainbow whipped back. Her book went flying across the floor as she fell out of her bed. Radically, of course.
Of course.
She definitely didn't land on her head.
What?
She cried, trying vainly to get her bearings. Rainbow peered around to her bedpost, her heart pounding in her ears. There was only one pony that called her that.
Blue Mummy.
The gray foal exclaimed again, scurrying up to Rainbow like a puppy.
I miss you,
he cried out, as mournfully as a little colt could manage, before pressing his face into Rainbow's fur. Pushing back, the blue mare's mouth failed to form words.
What?
She blinked, and then blinked again at the all-too-familiar bat-pony colt, who continued to press his light blue mane into her chest.
Batty?
She asked incredulously. The colt pulled away for a moment, and gave Rainbow a huge childish grin.
Yes,
he shouted, like he had just won the lottery.
It is me.
Rainbow Dash continued to stare at him for a minute, but then she regained her cool and picked herself up. She fluttered over to her Daring Do book strewn across the floor, and made sure to tuck it under her covers. Batty didn't need to be aware that Rainbow liked awesomeness within the mind.
Kid,
she began, rubbing her face with her hoof.
What the hey are you doing here?
Batty jumped up suddenly and squeaked. The sound itself made Rainbow Dash wince.
I don't know if you can hear these that I'm doing, but my recording can certainly pick it up. I squeaked like several times.
I didn't hear it.
Discord didn't seem to want me to want you to hear that.
It's in frequencies that Discord can't hear.
So disappointing. I am here to have a sleepover with you, Blue Mommy.
His eyes grew so wide, Rainbow was sure they would pop. With a sigh and a half-smile, the Pegasus plopped down beside the colt.
First off, I am not your mom.
She said, chuckling at the way Batty's ears flickered.
Okay, Blue Mommy.
He chirped, saluting like a soldier. Rainbow liked this kid. She cleared her throat.
But seriously.
She was cut off by the sound of scampering hooves. Rainbow turned around to the sight of the colt that had been right in front only moments before, now determinedly dashing into the kitchen.
Hey, little buddy.
She called, following after him with a sigh. Now what? She had to get this little guy home before something went horribly wrong. She could already feel her relaxing night slipping away.
Batty, what are you doing?
She stopped in her tracks when she saw the colt, who had managed to crawl up to the cupboard. He had one leg dangling over the counter as he squirmed closer to his prize. A cookie jar. Rainbow's face hooved. She watched in bemusement as Batty struggled to climb up, and finally succeeded in grabbing the jar between his hooves. He let out a squee of victory and tumbled down to the floor.
Look, Blue Mommy.
Batty shouted in sheer glee, leaping up to face the mare. He clasped the jar up in the air before sitting down on the floor with a thud. He then proceeded to stuff his face.
Oh, did you make these, Blue Mommy?
Batty asked, shoving another cookie in his mouth. Rainbow Dash groaned inwardly.
No, I did not. And hey, those were mine, by the way.
Her slightly hurt look was ignored by the colt, who smiled.
Rainbow Dash is such a good mom. She's trying to teach him to not take things that isn't his.
But she's not hitting him like she normally would.
True.
The Pegasus rolled her eyes, staring down at the bat pony who had just invaded her house and now was stealing her very special cookies. She probably would have called the police if he wasn't so freaking adorable.
Remember that, everybody. If you're cute, you can get away with anything.
Just ask Cozy Glow.
Mm-hmm. All right, Batty. Slow down. I don't know what your parents are feeding you there, but chill, kid. You're gonna make yourself sick.
The colt continued to munch even more vigorously than before. Rainbow sighed, chuckling. Without a sound, she dipped down and hoisted Batty into the air, despite the cry of protest.
Nuh-uh. I ain't letting you just sit around my kitchen eating my food in the middle of my night. In the middle of the night.
I liked my night more.
Rainbow Dash is a Luna.
Oh! Fan theory.
Now that's the only thing that could get me to like Luna.
Man, you hate Luna.
I hate her. I feel like I haven't been mentioning that enough in these recent episodes.
I guess she really kind of was like the Hitler of their world, but, she had a turnaround, so.
I think we could find another one who's more Hitler. She's more like, I don't know, who's just a really bad king. Really mean, awful guy.
King Henry VIII.
Yeah, that guy. She's more like that guy.
Yeah, she said, as sternly as she could manage. The colt squealed and kicked furtively. Furtively, is that how you say that?
Furtively? Yeah, it should be.
Okay. And kicked furtively against his captor's back. Rainbow Dash grumbled and dumped him on top of her bed.
It also might be furtively.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, I'm not getting a furtively when I look that up, so I am getting a furtively. In a way that attempts to avoid notice or attention secretively.
No, I don't think that's it.
Could be futilely.
Futilely, that's what they're going for. Futilely, because it's futile.
Yeah. I was also going to say that, but I prefer to think furtively.
Yeah, they combine them. I realized, though, the most annoying infestation is literally an episode of Owl House.
Yeah.
You remember?
Any spoilers for the Owl House?
That's not really a spoiler for the Owl House.
Portion 2. Just gonna say it. I don't remember.
Oh, it's like the one where the Bat Queen dumps her babies and makes them take care of them.
Yeah, now I remember. I remember that.
But it's like just the same thing,
Yeah, I mean,
down to the bat.
In the most annoying infestation, Batty kind of ran away. So
I know, but
there's slight differences.
It's
basically yes.
similar.
Disney ripped off Ocalhoun. Man,
Disney. And it won't be the last time they rip off this person.
Yeah.
The colt squealed and kicked furtively against his captor's back. Rainbow Dash grumbled and dumped him on top of her bed.
Listen.
She started, standing above him, tilting his nose up high like some fashion pony Rainbow knew. She laughed, rolling her eyes.
Not gonna talk, huh?
She asked. Sighing, she turned around.
Fine. You win, kid.
The cyan mare, with a flap of her wings, retrieved the cookie jar from the floor.
There.
She said.
Now, spill. Why are you in my house?
Batty had already bitten off a piece of the cookie and glanced up at Rainbow with puffed-out cheeks.
'Cause you're my blue mommy.
He exclaimed, knocking over the jar. Rainbow didn't even try to deny it anymore. She sat next to the colt on the bed.
Blue mommy is best mommy.
True, Mommy.
Look, it was real nice meeting you a couple weeks ago, but I don't think your parents are... But don't you think your parents are looking for you?
The way you were reading it. I don't think your parents are looking for you.
I was thinking it, my mind was going, I don't think your parents want you to be here. That's what my mind was going for, but...
Oh, God. You want to leave that in?
Yeah.
Okay. She inquired softly. The gray pony stopped eating for a moment, and his ears fell.
No. Skay. They're sleeping right now.
Rainbow Dash pressed her lips together.
Yeah, dude. But what happens when they wake up? Also, bat ponies are nocturnal, apparently? Or not nocturnal, apparently?
Oh, they're not?
Or, wait, is this in the day? I just figured it was in the...
This is at night. Rainbow Dash was going down to bed.
So yeah, they're not nocturnal, apparently, in this?
Okay. I mean, I guess because they're also part pony, it makes sense.
I guess. What if horses were nocturnal and bats were... What's the other one? What would the other one be called?
Diurnal?
Nocturnal? Diurnal?
I believe diurnal's the one we are.
Oh, cool. Yeah, what if bats were diurnal? Death.
Ah, man. I would hate that. I've already been slapped in the face by one before.
Wow, that must be awful. You're lucky you didn't get mad snail disease.
You mean rabies?
No. Maybe.
I was like riding my bike at one point, and then I just like whap, big leathery slap to the face.
Wow. Was it as cute as this guy? This little kiddo?
No.
Little boyo, it'll ruffle his hair and it'll pinch his cheeks.
It was more like startling than anything.
Poor baby Wizzy.
Yeah.
Tiny baby Wizzy.
It's me, it's my baby Wizzy. Subscribe.
Batty looked up into her rose-colored eyes.
I'll be back then. Size, they won't even notice. The way that Harmony Pie writes Batty is just slightly off from how O. Calhoun wrote him. So, like with the sides, I don't think Batty ever said something like that in the original fic. So that throws off the accent.
Like, so where he's going like skay and sides.
But like, yeah, kids definitely been learning from Rainbow Dash, I guess.
Oh, yeah, maybe he's trying to imitate her. That would be adorable.
Gosh, that would be so cute. Little ruffle little hair and pinch his little cheeks and pat him on the head, give him a glass of milk, send him off to bed.
Give him some bat treats.
Bat treats,
he said quietly. Rainbow pulled back and cocked her head to the side.
Won't notice. What are you talking about, kid?
She pulled Batty closer and rubbed his head playfully. The colt giggled, but then he grew solemn.
I know Mommy and Daddy love me, but sometimes they have stuff to do. They don't always have time for me.
He looked down. Rainbow felt her heart jerk a little bit. She hated to see the little kid like that. Batty's frown disappeared.
But now you're here. I missed you, Blue Mommy, so I thought you wanted to have a sleepover.
He exclaimed.
You do, right?
Rainbow snapped out of her trance and bit her lip at his wide, pleading eyes.
Sure.
Her eyes darted around.
Really?
Batty shouted, bouncing on the bed in excitement, his leathery wings flapping. Leathery wings, I use that word to describe them. Rainbow flinched, bringing her hoof through her multicolored mane. She groaned, trying to sort through her mind. This kid was so adorable and obviously really liked her, but what if she got charged for foal napping?
Yeah.
Or didn't get any sleep? Those were two very serious things. Yes, very equally serious things, Rainbow Dash. You
Very
really have
much
your
so.
priorities set. She glanced back down at the colt, who squeed.
Please, please, please?
He gasped, wagging his blue tail like a dog.
It's blue? Hold on, let me look at this kid. In this original fan fiction, it looks gray.
Okay, I
But
thought
in
there's
this
something
new
off
one,
there.
it's blue.
They're trying to change Batty.
How dare you? Maybe he's trying to look more like Rainbow Dash, so he dyed it.
Please, please, please.
Rainbow tackled the foal and clapped a hoof over his mouth.
Strangling him to death. No, not strangling. Suffocating him to death.
She just couldn't put up with him anymore.
Just stop.
She jerked back in sudden revulsion,
Well,
frantically wiping her hoof on her bedsheets.
Did you just lick me, kid?
Batty stuck his tongue, grinning wildly.
Nope.
Rainbow Dash groaned, almost laughing despite herself.
how'd you get like this, Batty? You're gonna make me pass out from cuteness.
Batty gasped, bringing a hoof up to Rainbow's head in childlike concern.
Is it contaminous, Blue Mummy? Are you sick?
The blue Pegasus shook her head in mirth.
No, buddy, it's not contagious, though I wish.
She squished his face playfully. Then she pulled back quickly, shaking her head. Rarity was starting to rub off on her. She was not a softie,
Okay.
she said carefully.
You can have a sleepover. You can stay here for a bit, seeing as there's no getting rid of you. You haven't really tried that much, though?
Yeah.
Have you picked him up and taken him to his house? I think that would be one of the smarter options here.
She doesn't want to get rid of him.
Oh,
I see.
who would? Look at him. He was so cute. Pinch his cheeks and ruffle his hair and a glass of milk, summon off to bed, tuck him in, read him a bedtime story.
The young colt clapped his hoofs together, running up to Rainbow's floofy chest. He hugged it tightly, making little happy horse noises.
That's the horse noises in Batty's accent.
Wow.
You're the best.
Rainbow blushed, although surprisingly enjoying his warm embrace.
Yeah, I know.
She said brashly, awkwardly petting his head. Batty sat back, immediately remembering his snack. While munching contently, he tilted his ear up.
What are these called, Blue Mummy?
Rainbow cackled, wiping her eye.
You've never eaten cookies before, Batty?
She shifted on the bed. Batty made a face.
Well, then again, you've never eaten cereal before, so...
Rainbow put a hoof to her chin in thought. The colt beside her offered her the circular dessert, also putting a hoof to his chin. Rainbow nommed on it absent-mindedly. What to do with a little foal? She had never foal-sat before. Well, except for, 2 weeks ago when you did this.
That was only for like 2 hours, though. At
Yeah.
most. Hey, Batty,
She asked. The colt fluttered his wings slightly.
how would you like a bedtime story?
Her voice cracked a bit. Batty shot up, shrieking at a pitch that almost made Rainbow's ears bleed.
Yes.
He yelled, placing his arms around Rainbow Dash, but then he paused.
We're not ready for it yet.
Rainbow waited ever so patiently.
We need an amazing fortress of pillows and blankies and things. Blue Mommy.
Yo, he's gonna start his own podcast in that pillow fort.
Yo.
Welcome back to the Pillow Fort podcast. I'm your host,
Deathfling, Kerfuffle, Nightblade. I can't remember the kid's full name.
That was his name?
Hold on, let me see here. Thunder Knight, Moonglade, Kerfuffle, Fangling.
That is an amazing name.
Yeah. I don't know why Rainbow Dash doesn't call him it.
Yeah, she likes amazing things. Rainbow Dash blinked.
Of course. I'm sorry. It just slipped my mind for a second.
How could I forget about that?
Batty nodded vigorously.
It's the rule for bat ponies.
He said, jumping down from the bed. He scrambled off of his rump to the closet. Rainbow couldn't hide her smile.
Blue Mommy, look, can I wear it?
Rainbow poked her head inside the closet, following Batty's gaze to a pair of pajamas. She blushed, trying to shut the door. The foal blocked it with his hoof.
Can I? Please? Pretty please, it looks so soft.
He cried out, prying the closet door open. The cyan Pegasus groaned, reluctantly pulling forth the green sleepwear that looked just about the colt's size. Oh, and it was a onesie.
I think Rainbow Dash canonically does have a onesie.
Yo! Is she embarrassed of it?
Nah.
Oh.
Actually, I don't think she does. Never mind. I was thinking of the wrong thing. My bad, guys.
Rainbow Dash deserves a onesie.
She does. Everyone should wear onesies. Onesies are great.
Rainbow gave a sheepish smile.
Okay, but if any pony asks, these were not mine when I was younger. Deal?
She held out the clothes in her arms. Batty grinned.
Deal.
He agreed, grabbing it from the older pony. He tried to push it over his head, but failed adorably.
Oh.
Rainbow laughed, walking up to help get it on. She pulled his hooves up to each sleeve and stood back to take in the whole picture. Batty giggled, bouncing from the room to Rainbow's bedroom. He stopped at their amazing architecture. The cyan Pegasus stared in a sort of awe at the huge pile and assortment of blankets before her. Man, that colt could really build a fort. She whistled. Can you whistle?
Okay, I am whistling. You just can't hear it.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Why can I hear you whistle?
I don't know. Well, I'll listen to it when this episode comes out.
Like, I was whistling directly into the mic right there.
I think it's probably just Discord. This doesn't want it to peak too much or something.
Good job, Squirt.
No, wait.
Good job, Squirt.
She praised to the energetic foal. Batty, squeaking, dove into the opening.
Come on, Blue Mommy.
He called. Rainbow Dash trotted forward, ducking low to make it into the fort. The blanket brushed her back as she hunkered down.
Hi, come on.
Batty patted the spot beside him on the pillows, shouldering the blanket.
Okay.
Rainbow said, smiling fondly. The whole tent was bringing a wave of nostalgia over her. She laid next to the foal, bringing out her Daring Do book from under her wing. Thankfully, Batty didn't ask about her love for the series.
Batty, you sure you can handle the awesomeness that is Daring Do? Some of this stuff may be a bit too intense for little foals.
Yeah, there are crocodiles on the ceiling and everything.
Ceiling alligators? Ah.
Rainbow looked down at the colt who snuggled up against her side.
I am not a little foal, Blue Mommy. I can take it.
He grinned proudly. Rainbow was skeptical, but she cleared her throat.
Chapter 1.
She began.
Daring trekked through the blazing hot sand, wiping the grit from her eyes. Each step weighted 1,000 pounds, and every breath was a struggle. Daring sank into the dune, vainly swallowing whatever moisture was left in her mouth. Was that it? Would she never find the temple of the sacred sands and retrieve the golden idol of Sphinx? The Pegasus could feel her strength slipping away after the long journey, just as Daring was sure she would breathe her last.
Rainbow broke off when she heard the sound of a gentle snoring beside her. Batty had curled up against her side and had dozed off. Most likely as soon as she had started. Rainbow pulled a wing over him, watching the colt. She had just met him twice, and she already felt like they were close. Ugh, she was sappy. Batty stirred.
Good night, Mommy.
He mumbled. Rainbow's eyes widened at the lack of blue. But come on, that was priceless. She stroked his fur lightly with a feather.
Good night, Batty.
Oh. And now we get to go to the epilogue.
Epilogue. Woo! Hooray.
Chapter
2.
2. Bath.
Bonus chapter.
Author's note. I wasn't going to say bonus chapter. That's in parentheses. It's optional.
I prefer
Author's
we give
note.
an accurate reading.
Fine. Author's note. Just a fun extra chapter for the morers out there. I hope you enjoy. Also, the picture is not mine. It just happened to fit almost perfectly. Edit. As Count Blue Nova pointed out, the original story did say that Rainbow didn't have a bath. I missed that piece until I already wrote it, so I hope you can overlook it.
Unfortunately, we cannot. Thank you all for watching
That's actually
this
unforgivable.
Thank you all for listening to this episode of Ross and Wizzy's Fanfiction Power Hour. Good night. No, I'm kidding. Let's continue.
Rainbow Dash awoke groggily. She firstly rolled over to the left, stretching out her wings. She blinked blearily. Then she rolled to the right and screamed. There was some pony staring right at her. Oh no, what? Oh my god. Rainbow Dash sighed heavily, pulling back from the intruding face. It was just Batty, of course. He was standing on the pillow, watching her without a sound.
Where's Tank?
His blue hair. Who's Tank?
Tank is her tortoise.
Oh,
I'm sure Batty would love Tank.
right?
That sounds
Maybe
so
bats
cute.
eat tortoises, so she had to hide him.
Oh, maybe. Oh, maybe that's why he wasn't around during the last fic, too, because he ate him.
Oh, man.
Rest in peace, my old-looking slow boy.
No, I get it, because she's the fastest. She needs a tortoise.
Yeah.
So clever. His blue hair nearly covered his eye as his muzzle twitched carefully. The cyan Pegasus groaned, pulling herself up to a slouching position.
Geez, kid.
She mumbled.
What are you doing?
The colt smiled slowly, his hooves bouncing a bit in their makeshift bed.
I was watching you, Blue Mommy.
Rainbow Dash just stared at him. That's not creepy at all.
While I slept?
She rubbed her face.
Yeah, you're so pretty.
He said, too quiet for Rainbow's liking. The mare immediately jolted up and crossed her arms over each other.
Hey, I am not.
She protested, a blush blossoming over her face.
Take that back. Now.
Batty grinned, tilting his head to the side.
Nope, you're pretty. You're pretty. You're pretty.
While the colt chanted, he did a little dance.
It's true. No, wait. Is true. That one worked.
Rainbow Dash shook her head violently.
Ugh. That's so not true, dude. I'm just awesomely good looking.
See, this is how you know she's a lesbian.
Mm-hmm.
She only gets called handsome, not pretty.
Or awesomely good
She
looking.
nodded it, or awesomely good looking, of course. She nodded in approval to herself. Yeah, that sounded right. Batty stopped suddenly.
Oh, okay, Blue Mommy.
He agreed, giggling. He wrapped Rainbow Dash in a great fuzzy hug. The mare accepted it with a concealed...
Nah.
Then she snapped back to attention. He was covered in crumbs. Rainbow jerked back, giving Batty a sly look as an idea came to her head.
Do you know what you have to do now?
She asked, brushing some stray cookie bits off of her coat. The colt cocked an ear.
What, Blue Mommy? You have to take a bath.
She cried, grabbing Batty to her chest and picking him up.
Really? Oh, yay!
He squealed, flapping his wings in excitement. She carried him to the bathroom, her head held high despite his reaction. She knew he loved baths, but still, colts were supposed to scream in terror at the thought. Psh, whatever. At least Batty would be clean.
You know, it really is funny. The original is only like 4,000 words or so. 4,500. What a coincidence that in this very short story, you just forget that one of the things that it's mentioned is that Rainbow Dash doesn't have a bath.
Does she have a bath in the show?
As far as we know, no. Actually, we do see Pinkie Pie has a bathroom. A bath, specifically.
Oh, what does she do with it?
Bathes Twilight. It's a long story.
Oh, I didn't realize they were like that.
It's the whole thing. Anyways. All right.
She sighed. dropping the grinning foal on the rug. Rainbow flicked the overhead light on as Batty jumped up and down.
Bath, 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 bath.
He chanted, wagging his tail wildly.
Bath.
The Pegasus shook her head fondly at his antics, before flitting over to turn the water on. It poured out from the gold tap, steam already wafting from the top. She reached in with her hoof, nodding in approval when she deemed Batty worthy. With a grunt, she pulled the crumb-covered sleepwear off the colt.
Okay, kid. Happen.
Squealing, Batty wasted no time in leaping in the inch-deep water and causing a few flecks to fly at Rainbow's face. The Siam mare chuckled and watched as Batty attempted to shove his face under water.
Hold on, little buddy.
She said.
Gotta wait for the bath to fill up.
Batty jerked up, giving her an odd look.
But what about?
He whispered. Dash leaned closer, raising her eyebrow.
What about what, kid?
Batty shifted in the water, kicking his little hoofs against the pooling heat.
You forgot the toys.
He cried incredulously, shaking his head disapprovingly. He stuck out his lower lip. Rainbow Dash pulled back, shutting her mouth. This guy was starting to know how to get to her.
But, Batty,
She sighed.
I don't have any foals toys.
Batty threw his gaze to the pajamas against the wall. Rainbow Dash laughed nervously.
Why? All right. I might have a small action figure of Spitfire.
Spitfire's famous.
Spitfire, aka Mommy.
Oh yeah, Mommy and Blue Mommy.
And yes, Spitfire is famous.
Man, these stories go well together.
Yeah, they really do.
She admitted. The colt clapped his hoofs, sinking further down in the tub in glee.
Okay, Blue Mommy.
When Rainbow Dash returned, with toys grasped between her hooves, Batty gave a cry of joy. He reached out and took it from the reluctant Pegasus, who squinted her eyes.
You better be careful, kid. That's a one-of-a-kind edition.
She warned, smiling. Batty made a vague nodding motion, already making little airplane sounds as Spitfire dodged the spout of water.
Airplane sounds. Ponies don't have airplanes.
They don't?
No.
They even have like machines, like cars and stuff?
No. They have
Any like
carriages.
giant robots?
No.
Oh right, the carriages! Yeah, that's right. I forgot. They only have magic, not technology.
Although in one episode we do see kind of a little helicopter thing.
Oh?
Yeah.
Pinky turns into one?
No.
Okay.
She fly through the air like a blue mommy.
He said in a low voice, as if reporting the actions of the Spitfire doll.
Yeah, Rainbow Dash,
Rainbow
bringing
Dash.
up memories. It is now my headcanon that the two we've read today take place in the same universe.
Yeah, they have to.
They have to.
Rainbow Dash covered her mouth in mirth. Batty suddenly stopped and turned to face Rainbow Dash with an interesting look on his face.
Blue mommy,
He began carefully.
I think there's something on my hoof.
He continued in the same tone. He reached out to the bewildered Rainbow Dash, who cocked her head at the colt.
I don't see anything.
Batty shook his head, keeping his red eyes locked on the older mare.
You have to touch it to see it.
The logic, however ridiculous it sounded, still made Rainbow feel obliged to bring her hoof to his.
Okay.
Splash! Rainbow fell headfirst into the shallow water, her legs splaying out in a most undignified way. She gasped, twisting her head up, and slipped against the sides.
What the?
She screeched, choking on laughter. Batty's upside-down face was shaking with giggles.
Oh, very funny.
Rainbow slowly pulled herself up, pushing back her wet mane. Batty squeaked in mock fear, sliding up against the back of the tub. But then he reconsidered, and came to give Rainbow a hug.
Now you can play Wonderbolts with me, and look at the waterfall, and...
He was cut off by a loud bang. It came from Rainbow's mudroom. It was a gunshot. Thunder night moonglade kerfuffle fangling. Rainbow froze.
Pony feathers.
And then this awesome fan art shows her dunking him under the water.
Child murder.
Aw, yeah. Actually, that does look pretty evil if you take it to
Yeah.
be something else.
Pictures
Wait a
not
minute.
theirs. It just happens to almost fit perfectly.
Oh, dang. I was gonna say, because in that picture, he had the frickin' color of mane that she has, and I was like, I don't remember that ever being established.
Yeah, no, it's I think it was just something that they found.
Ah, that was quite refreshing.
That was The Most Annoying House Guest by Harmony Pie. It was a sequel to The Most Annoying Infestation by O'Calhoun. And let me ask you, Wizzy, you think we're ever going to actually read a sequel to a fan fiction that's written by the person who wrote the original?
Yes,
Good to know. What did you think about it?
this was a very, very, very adorable story.
It was. It warms my heart to see Mommy Rainbow Dash, Blue Mommy.
I'm so glad you got to bring back the baddie voice.
Yeah, me too. It was, I guess I could do it for like literally any episode we do. You just go, fuck it, I want to do this voice now. But it's really
but not
special.
as baddie.
It's a special voice that I can only do on rare occasions.
Yep.
For specifically this one character, I guess. Or if I feel like it.
I don't know, maybe if there's another baby bat character in the future, maybe if one shows up in Celestia Code, you can whip out the voice again.
Hey guys, recommend your baby bat fix down in the... Anyways, how do we think it compares to The Most Annoying Infestation?
Oh, I'd say writing was less polished than I remember the Most Annoying Infestation being.
Although we do say in the Most Annoying Infestation episode that there is, because I frequently listen to this episode, that there is quite a bit of spelling mistakes, I believe.
Oh, okay, then I take it back. I thought I remembered the Most Annoying Infestation being like, just like being well written.
Yeah, I remember most of the stories that we read being well written, but
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true at all, actually.
Most of them have at least one typo.
True. Fan fictions. Personally, I do think that The Most Annoying Infestation was a bit better, but that being said, I thought that this one was a real cute.
What were you gonna do when we were reading this one?
Oh, yeah. So, as it would turn out, the original episode had auto-generated chapters on YouTube, and I haven't read these, but these auto-generated chapters are Intro, Rainbow's House, The Big Problem, Rainbow's Plan, Twilight's Problem, Rainbow's Problem, The Rat, Twilight, Bat Pony, Rainbow Rose, Rainbow Dash, Pigs, Blue Mommy, and then finally, Rainbow.
Oh my god.
Which, I mean, if you flesh this out into a fully fledged, novel, perfect ideas right there.
Yeah. Rainbow Rose. I forgot that they called him that he called her Blue Mommy in the original.
Really?
Yeah.
It's like one of the cutest things.
Was that only at the ending?
No.
Okay, I guess I just forgot about that.
I don't.
For some reason it felt new in this.
But no, it was definitely in the original, at least.
Okay. That is cute.
Yeah.
But I think that's a nice wrap up.
All right. In that case, everybody, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you all so much for listening. And you should all, if you haven't, go listen to The Most Annoying Infestation. Since, it seems a bit relevant. You can find me at Ross Pitt Shark on Twitter and Ross Pitt Shark Hunter on YouTube. And
you can't find me. I'm hidden too well.
Wizzy is such a sneaky boy. We played hide and seek last week, and I couldn't find him.
Still hasn't found me.
Still haven't found him. He's recording this from an unknown location. And that's honestly the most concerning thing.
Bye.
Record.
The record button was pressed.
But was it activated?
I don't know. I can't see. Discord is gone now. Audacity is gone now.
But what about Discord?
Discord is terrorizing the ponies.
Oh, God.